What's happening, dogs? Mr. Allen here, about to convert from degrees to radians and radians to degrees in this video. So first off, we're going to need some type of conversion thing going on here. We're going to multiply by pi over 180 if we want to convert from degrees to radians. And if I want to go from radians to degrees, I'm going to multiply by 180 over pi. We're just going to flip it. There we go. Nice. So that's like our multiplier, right? So I'm going to take the 300 and I'm going to multiply it by pi over 180. Okay. Now, I like to write this maybe even as 300 over 1 and do some simplifications here because a lot of times these come up on non-calculator tests. So I can divide by 10 on these, and then 30 and 18 are both divisible by 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. 18 divided by 6 is going to give me 3. So my final answer here after all these slashes is 5 pi over 3. Again, reducing a little bit at a time, super helpful when doing these conversions. All right, next one here, 140. I'm going to multiply by pi over 180. So we got 140, and we can throw it over 1 or not, whatever. We got pi over 180. I'm going to divide by 10 again. Boom, cancel out my zeros there. What about 14 and 18? Those are both divisible by 2. So that would be 7, and this would be 9. I cannot reduce any further there. I'm going to have 7 pi over 9 for my radians. Nice. 2 down. 4 to go. All right. Green now. 80. Okay, so I got 80 times pi over 180. I can divide by 10 again. Very nice. And now I have 8 over 18. Let's see here. Both divisible by 2. That's going to give me 4. That's going to give me 9. Nothing else to do there. So we get 4 pi over 9. And you don't always have to find the largest thing to divide by. If you're like, oh, I can divide by 2, just keep going through that. That's cool. But make sure you are able to do some of these simplifications in 1 or 2 steps here. Because, again, these are going to be in non-calculator type tests most of the time. Not every time, but most of the time your conversions are going to be a non-calculator to see if you can work with your fractions and do some of that math on your own. All right, we'll go back to pink here. So now we're going from radians to degrees. So I'm going to multiply by 180 over pi. The way I remember this conversion is like I want to divide the pi out of it. Now, the thing about radians is they don't necessarily always have to have pi present. You can have 2 radians or like 2.75 radians. You would just multiply in your calculator by 180 over pi to convert it to degrees. These are the non-calculator type. So let's see here. We got 5 pi over 6 times 180 over pi. I'm going to cancel my pi's. Cool. Now, I'm not going to do 5 times 180, then divide by 6. I'm also not going to do 180 divided by 6. I'm going to do 18 divided by 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3, right? So that means that I'm going to have 5 times 30, which is equal to 150 degrees. Boom. All right, so we're trying to work with some smaller numbers, but still be able to do the math, right? 18 divided by 6 is 3, so 180 divided by 6 is 30. Times 5 gives me 15 or 150, depending on where you're at with those numbers, all right? So try to practice using that wonderful mental math and breaking down numbers into more manageable things so you can do it in the old cabeza and not have to bust out the calculator on these because it's not a calculator here, man. This is not a calculator, okay? I'm tempted. I'm not going to, okay. I shouldn't say that yet. I should make sure that we're good, okay. Here I'm going to multiply by 180 over pi. So we got 7 pi over 18 times 180 over pi. Pi's cancel. 180 divided by 18, that's just 10. Boom. So we get 7 times 10 is 70 degrees. A lot of times, again, if they're non-calculator, the number should work out pretty nicely. You might get a fraction, but a lot of times they'll work out pretty nicely. Last one here, we got 3 pi. Oops. Should switch to green. Let's see if I can erase this. Doesn't always erase that great. That's not bad. 3 pi over 10 times 180 over pi. Pi's are gone. 180 divided by 10, it's going to be 18. 3 times 18 is what, 54? 54 degrees. Boom. Right? Yeah, because it'd be like 6 times 9. Yeah, 54. Boom. All right, nice. Wonderful. Fantastic. Head double check. Make sure I don't make a mistake here. Nice, man. 6 dope problems. From degrees to radians with awesomeness. All right. See you later.